Good morning. It is February 19th, 2019. It is 6:54 in the morning, and yes, my little alarm is about to go off. Our first story, a little bittersweet for those of us whose parents or grandparents served in World War II, and we remember this iconic photo. This is a photo from New York City where when the announcement came out that Japan had signed the um, peace agreement to end World War II in the Pacific, the whole country was celebrating, and this sailor, Mr. Mendoza, was running through the streets. He had just debarked from his ship, and he was on leave, and he was running through the streets celebrating like everyone else, and grabbing every available nurse every available woman, and giving her a big fat kiss because he was so happy. So the title of this article says U.S. World War II kissing sailor dies at 95. And this is from Sputnik. And it was published this morning. Yes. George Mendoza, the U.S. sailor who became famous after being photographed celebrating the end of World War II by bending over and kissing 21-year-old Greta Zimmer Friedman on VJ Day victory over Japan Day in New York Times Square, has died at age 95. Mendoza's daughter, Sharon Moliere, says her father suffered a seizure and died on Sunday after a fall at a care home in Middleton, Rhode Island. The photo, which went on to become one of the most enduring images of the period, was taken by Alfred Eisenstadt, a roundup of celebration pictures for Life magazine. The photographer, excuse me, the photographer did not give the names of the kissing strangers, so it was years before Mendoza and Friedman, who died in 2016 at age 92, were confirmed as the featured couple. Eisenstadt described how he watched the sailor running along the street on the 14th of August, 1945, grabbing any girl in sight. Quote, I was running ahead of him with my Leica, which is a camera, or Leica, looking back over my shoulder, but none of the pictures that were possible pleased me. Then suddenly, in a flash, I saw something white being grabbed. I turned around and clicked the moment the sailor kissed the nurse. If she had been dressed in a dark dress, I would never have taken the picture, the photographer later wrote in his book. Friedman, who had been working as a dental assistant, said she had not been aware of the photo until the 1960s. So that's 20 years later. According to noting that the kiss wasn't a romantic event and was just a celebration. Mendoza served in the Pacific and was home on leave when the picture was taken. The photograph represented the sense of joy felt across the U.S. the day Japan surrendered. However, a recent article in Time magazine suggested that the photo is little more than documentation of a very public assault. You have lost your damn mind if that's what you think this photograph is. And clearly you are too young or have not studied history, especially World War II history. Let's keep going. Our next story from Fox News, Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein is expected to step down by mid-March, officials say. And this was written by Nicole Dara and Jake Gibson for Fox News. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein is expected to leave his role at the Justice Department by mid-March a senior DOJ official told Fox News on Monday. An official announcement of who has been selected to replace Rosenstein could come as early as this week. A Trump administration official added that Attorney General William Barr has picked Jeffrey Rosen, who currently serves as Deputy Secretary of the U.S. Department of Transportation, to take over for Rosenstein. Links in the show notes, as always. Let's keep going. New York, again from Fox, and this was published this morning by Greg Ray for Fox News. New York, California, and 14 other states to sue Trump in the Ninth Circuit over emergency declaration. And sorry about that. And let's listen to the clip.
National emergency declaration amid fierce backlash, while the president's 2020 campaign is using it to galvanize supporters. The Washington Post pointing out that Trump's team is already fundraising over his border wall showdown with Democrats. Let's bring in Mark Lotter, former special assistant to President Trump, former press secretary for Vice President Pence, and member of the Trump 2020 Advisory Board. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks,
so is
Melissa.
that true? Is it already a fundraising issue for the Trump campaign?
Well, you often send out fundraising emails touting the president's accomplishments and things that he's doing to fight with Democrats and actually to deliver on the things he promised he was going to deliver to the American people.
Yeah. I wonder if when you're creating strategy and you sit there and he says, he lays out how he thinks the court's going to challenge it and it's going to go to this circuit and then it's going to go to the Supreme Court and we'll win. Do you worry that that galvanizes the left because it puts that focus on the Supreme Court and how important it is to have your president in office so that you can nominate judges?
Well, I think when you look at the Democrats, their radicalized base is always radicalized. They wake up every morning that President Trump is in office, and they are against that. Anything that he says, does, or believes in. So I'm not worried about it energizing the left. What it will do, though, is it will be another example of the president delivering on the promises he made, and that's really, it's not immigration. I mean, if you paid attention to the 2016 campaign, that was one part of the president's argument. It was about fighting for American jobs, fighting for American workers, ending bad deals that put us at a disadvantage on the international stage. He delivered on those promises. He's going to highlight that in 2020, the things that he's delivered, the 5.3 million jobs. Yeah. But he's also going to talk about where he wants to go in the future. That's what this is going to be about.
So people make the argument, though, that a move like this is great for President Trump with his base, but it alienates those people in the margin who feel like it's a bridge too far, it's presidential overreach to declare that national emergency that he had. You know, it's only that one piece of money that he gets from the national emergency, and this shows just sort of that going too far and alienates people in the middle. How do you respond to that?
That puts the pressure on us to better communicate. Look, when President Clinton called it a national emergency about conflict diamonds being imported from Africa or investment in Angola being a national emergency, I don't disagree with either of those decisions, but was it an actual threat to our nation or its citizens? No, it was the right political action or the right policy decision to make. So the use of a national emergency is a legal mechanism to be able to get the things done that we need to get done, and that's what the president is doing.
But in the way that you just said that, you know, when you say, is it a threat, it makes it sound like, you know, all of the people that are coming over the border are a threat to our security. I understand the drugs and the mules and the drug trafficking and those that are coming with bad intentions, but that sets up the president to then be next to pictures of people who are trying to immigrate here because they either want a better life or because they are facing insecurity back home. And to say those people are a threat, you know, makes the president sound hostile, and again, hurts for those folks in the middle.
Well, one of the things the president has said multiple times and in many addresses is that we need more legal immigration to our country. As you know, we have more available jobs right now than we do unemployed people for the first time in the history of our country.
No, you don't have to convince me. What could he do to show that? Because he said that during the State of the Union, which was great. I want more people to come here than ever before. I just want them to do it the right way. What action could he take that would show that he means that? Because people doubt that he means that.
Well, I think he can continue to call on Congress, because it's going to be up to Congress to change those immigration laws. And that's something presidents of both parties have called for, and Congress has refused to do.
No, that's true. They need to do their job. Mark Lauder, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, not more that I can add to that, other than 14 is not a majority, to be sure. And certainly California is front and center on this one. Quote, California is aggrieved by the actions of defendants and has standing to bring this action because of the injury due to the loss of federal drug interdiction, counter narcotics, and enforcement funding by the state caused by the defendants' diversion of funding, reads one of the paragraphs. In addition to California, Maine, New York, Delaware, Oregon, Hawaii, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Virginia, Nevada, New Jersey, and New Mexico are all signers of that petition. All right, let's have a little good news. As you recall, I brought you the golden retriever who is featured on Sputnik daily, last week or the week before, who will not let the writer work and constantly bats the writer's hand away from the laptop. Well, in this story, sheriff's officials, Good Samaritan, and dogs stop children from crossing the interstate, and this is from Central Florida. Okaloosa County, Florida, WJHG and WECP news organizations. Officials with the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office credit witnesses and two dogs for protecting two young children as the children were moving towards a highway Saturday morning. Witnesses repeatedly saw the two children, both under the age of 6, in an emergency lane of Interstate 10. They said that two dogs, a Great Pyrenees Shepherd mixes, were with them and were pushing the children back against the guardrail when they would move towards the interstate. Sheriff's Office and Florida Highway Patrol responded to mile marker 44 near Holt around 9 a.m. Saturday after receiving multiple calls. Officials said several people reported seeing the dogs standing between the children and the highway, pushing them back when they would move forward. Deputies said they determined the children had been playing in their yard with other children. They reportedly walked away from the foster father who had called for them to return. They said he was unable to pursue them due to an ambulatory condition. They went on to say the father sent his teenage children to search for the younger children while he drove his tractor into the woods to find them. Police deputies said after an investigation, they determined he made a diligent effort to find the children. No criminal charges were pursued. They said one of the children said she went off because she was chasing a rainbow. I cannot think of a better reason to have dogs, and especially, I'm a little biased, the shepherding breeds. They are wonderful dogs, and there's a reason why that we say dogs are a man's best friend. Thank you for joining us. That's all we have for you this morning. We'd like to remind you or ask you, if this is the first time you have seen our content, to like, share, and comment wherever you find our content. And currently you can find us at halieusmedia.com, on BitChute, on Mumbleit, and on here on YouTube. Sorry about that notification going off. So for me and the Shepherd, we hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks again for joining us. Until we see you again, take care.